Hey guys, welcome to the Royalty Workshop. And we're reviewing tonight's a big night. We're reviewing our important and imperative lists that we'll do, and we do have a new member, member of Royalty Workshop on the call, Em. So I'm going to have to explain everything. So this will be a good one, I guess, a good Royalty Workshop to tag your future people in, so they're in the loop of what's going on. But last week we decided that we're going to use Royalty Workshop more. It was, I guess, purely a training platform for high-level training, but now we're going to mix it with a bit of accountability as well. So what we have, and you'll find it in this page, is important and imperative lists that we fill out every single day. Number one reason is it keeps us on track with our business. And, after my first 2 days of doing the important and imperative list, I felt like so pumped up. I don't know if you guys feel the same thing, because you're crossing things off all day and you're feeling like the winner. And the mindset is behind any type of list or completing a list is that the subconscious mind doesn't actually know the difference between the achievement of a massive, massive, massive goal. For example, maybe buying a house, buying a new car, and a small goal, like having a liter of Glow Lean, if that's a goal of yours. So it doesn't actually know the difference. So when you're crossing things off your list all day, you feel like a winner. You feel on fire, especially if they go along with your goals. And the template is here, so if you want to add things to it, you can. If you want to take things off, you can. But I just kind of done it what I wanted on there for me, and then uploaded it. So you guys can adjust it if you want, but I think it's perfect because it goes along with the philosophy. And then talking to 10 people, and that's kind of how simple the business is, I think. So you'll see them attached. But what we're going to do is not to be perfect from the first time we do it, or any time really. We just want to get better. So we want to get better from the last week, maybe from the last day if we had a shocker, and just put that day behind us and just be honest with ourselves. Like, I've got a day here where I had a really crap day talking to people, just because in reflection, I didn't plan the day out well enough at the start of the day, and then I got swamped by calls that all went over. And everything seemed to be all kind of happening all at once, and I just didn't have time. Like, I literally spent the day at home, didn't get out of the house, and I didn't hit social media hard enough, so I had no one to talk to, right? So, excuses, and they are all equal. But the lesson, if we're drawing lessons from the reflection of the list, me personally, I think that's half the battle, because we can go, I've got to do that better, and then moving forward, if we have that moment enough, hopefully we figure out a way to get better, right? Because if we don't, we're just going to keep doing the same shit and end up in the same spot as where we are right now. And the other reason, just while we're talking about this guy, the reason why I really like the lists is I think it's going to elevate our standards. Because what's going to happen over time is if we're really consistent with this, which I know we will be if we're serious about actually turning Herbalife business and getting the potential out of that, but more importantly, getting the potential out of ourselves. Because what we're doing here isn't hard. And it's about really, I was listening to Tony Robbins today, driving up to get the boys for a Father's Day event. And he was talking a lot about having high standards and the difference between people who succeed and the people that don't, or the people who have, those people that you look at and you wish, man, I had that. So it might be the person in amazing shape. It might be the person with the freedom that you want. It might be the person with just really anything that you deem a goal of yours that they already have. It's not because of any other reason apart from they've been able to visualize that for themselves at some point and say, this is what I actually want. And so their standards are there and they want it. But if you're operating on like a push mentality, your willpower will only get you so far. And I've definitely experienced that in the last 6 months. Your willpower might last a week. We might have it on the other end of an SDS, right? So we go to an SDS or a big event, we're super jacked up, we're pumped up, might happen after the BTS this weekend, and our willpower is really high, but your willpower is never going to get you all the way there. What will get you all the way there is stuff that pulls you, which is like your vision and your reasons why and stuff like that. But then we have to be able to translate that into daily daily things that we do. And that's why these lists are so important. I was thinking to myself, it was kind of like he was talking about it, because if we do this stuff daily, like if our goal is to get in shape and we're working out and we're having 3 liters of Globally in our tabs 3 times a day and 2 shakes a day, that's I'm lost for the word. What's the word? Habit. That's a habit that if we get into, and that's something that we do every single day, of course, our future selves are going to look back and say, that's the habit that actually got me from where I was to here. These are the little habits that we do every single day that get us from here to here and where we want to be, right? And the real way we're become happy is no other way than we're progressing. Human beings are meant to evolve, and our standards are meant to lift. And really, the only thing that can lower your standards is hanging out with the wrong people. Because a lot of people, they and this is a subconscious thing, but they choose to hang out with people who they deem either equal to or lesser than them, because it makes them feel good. And I know that sounds like an evil thing to say, but that's actually why people do it. They hang out with people that they deem less than them because it makes them feel good, rather than people that kind of drag them up, because they don't want to be the, Les Brown says, if you're smartest person in the room, it's time to get a new room, right? So it's the same type of thing. They don't want to be the bottom end of the pecking order, because that's a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit hard, and it's harder to raise your standards than to find friends that have lower standards and be better than them, right? So that's why it's really important to who we hang around. And the thing about this guy, this as well, guys, that I love, and is a quote from Jim Rohn, is, we can either suffer right now, and in the next even 12 months, 18 months of our lives, we can suffer the pain, like our future selves in 10, 20 years. We're going to be either suffering the pain of discipline right now of doing this, which I don't think is a really hard thing to do, or the pain of discipline later on. The pain of regret later on. So the pain of discipline right now, which is a very small amount, or the pain of regret later. So, for example, we've got a World Team event coming up in September, in 2 weeks, and a lot of the people in that event will have been World Team for over 12 months, 2 years. Some of us are going back as World Team members, so I'm not like having a go at anyone on this call or anything like that. But there's people that have been World Team in there for 10 years. And it's kind of like, well, whatever your habits are right now, that's your World Team habits. They're not going to turn into Get Team habits. They're not going to be active World Team habits. So in reflection, what are the habits and the things that you can do every day that's going to actually move you into the next pin? And that's filling out these boxes to whatever it is your goal is. Those new conversations every day, and that's it. That's how simple it is. And then all we have to do is develop the habits, so like the plan that fills in those squares. So that one might be social media, it might be hanging out flyers, it might be whatever it is. For me, just from being aware and having this in my pocket, knowing I had people left on the list, I spoke to 5 people that, to be honest, last week when we weren't doing this list, I wouldn't have spoke to, just because it wasn't front of mind, not because I didn't want to, just wasn't there. Like it just wasn't, oh shit, I have to invite this person. So I got 5 invites out just from doing my day-to-day thing. And we weren't in town all day, and I was on a call for 90 minutes while I was there as well. So I intentionally went to a cafe to do the call because I knew there'd be other people there that I could invite. And we went and got, what was another example? I'm just trying to give you guys some examples here. We went to the bank because I forgot my PIN. Who forgets their PIN? I just couldn't remember it at all. So I went in the bank, and the chick was really friendly and helpful. And I said, man, you've been sorry to waste your time. You've been really good to me. She literally said, just log into the app and change it. And we're kind of having a laugh and going, geez, I'm an idiot type of thing. And then I said, hey, you've been really helpful. Here's a complimentary invite down the Orbit Lifestyle Center. But if you didn't actually have the cards or whatever, that doesn't hold you back. You could say, hey, I'll grab your details. I'll set you up with a complimentary invite or a free health scan or whatever your DMO is. Yeah? And I kind of worded it like, well, you've helped me a lot here. Here, this is the least that I can do. So just by having things aware and raising your standards to meet whatever it is a really, really powerful thing. And, Tony was saying on the call as well, your focus equals power. If we're not focused on things, guys, we're kind of going to give our power away. And you can either, be the creator of your life or the manager of your life. So you can't manage something you haven't created yet, right? So if you're happy where you're at, we manage what we have. But if you want new stuff, it's time for those standards to lift, right? And that's without seeing anyone's numbers. And I'm just talking that because I was listening to the personal development. I was like, this ties in so well. So I just want to talk about that at the front end of the list. So I've got my list here, guys. To be honest, I started on Monday with you guys because we were in the SDS in Melbourne. I just thought, you know what? And it's a shit habit. Don't do this. But I said, I'm going to start on Monday. One of those guys, right? And we did, but we started with bang. Don't be a start on Monday guy. I'm actually going to do this right now. So if it's so much more powerful, so much a better affirmation, all that other stuff. I wish I'd had this list in my pocket when we were in Melbourne because we spoke to heaps of people. Anyway, different story, huh? So what I've got here, so for 4 days, so what I'm going to actually do is average this out, right? So, and this is just the new conversations that we've had. So, and then you can start this tomorrow if you want. I'll speak to you about it. I'll give you a ring about it. But just so you'll get kind of like the gist. And we're not trying to be perfect once again. We're just trying to improve every week. Because if we keep doing that, I see Herbalife as a like I'm going to be in this thing for life. I kind of seen it that way since I started. And yeah, I had my moments of, what the hell's going on here and all that stuff, still do. But, it's a long-term thing. So imagine if we get better even every single month and we turn that 5 new people into 6. I'm telling you, if you're talking to 5 new people a day, you're doing more than 80% of Herbalife right now, especially in Australia. So if you up that to 10, you go, you know what, I'm just going to smash this thing out of the park and be the inspiration for everyone. And you work it up to 10. You're going to be blowing this thing wide open. And if you just sustain that for a long period of time, you're going to have so much momentum, guys. It'll carry you to President's Team, 15, 20K, 30K, and your life's going to be a lot different. Yeah. So, but let's talk about the list we have here. So what I want you to do is, with the list in front of you, add up the new people that you've talked to every day out of the 10 from when you started. So it might be 4 days. For me, for example. So what I do is I've got 10 here, so that's easy. 10 here, so that's 20, that's easy. 2 here on my shit day that I just spoke about. And then today was 7 as well. I got caught up in my own BS again, but it's about improvement, right? So I'm not going to beat myself up about it. So 29 divided by 4, and mine's 7.25. Because I had 4 days trying to do 10, and I've still got time today, actually. That might go up. I get off this call inspired and try to get some late night overseas things on Instagram or something. But that's my average as of right now. Yeah. So, and if this call's like the accountability call and it's going to be roughly at the same time every week, it's good to have it of right now. Right. So, so what I want you to jot down somewhere, I don't know where, is that number, because next week, your mission 5 for Tash. Amazing. What about you, Bales? What's your average? I can't hear you.
Yeah, I know this. I missed how you worked it out. So you counted how many you've done in however many days you've been doing it.
Correct. So let's say you've done 40 people in the last week. You divide that by the 7 days.
Okay, right.
Does that make sense? So if you only started on Saturday, it just depends on when you started.
I haven't done anything. I didn't start anything today.
What were you on for the 4.5? So Bobby's on 4.25 for 4 days as well.
What would that mean?
Yeah. Do you feel like you're like, just because you're hearing Uzi talk, do you feel like that's an increase in your numbers anyway? So it's a win.
And I invited people to it. Wasn't it?
Yeah. And that they were actual invites too, not conversations. Bobby's just saying if you can't hear as well. So Tash is on 3 new convos a day. But in reflection, guys, and I know Lisa's average 1, but in reflection, does it feel like you've actually done more this week than you have over the past weeks? So just imagine if you keep trying to up that by even half a person, like people can get split in half, but you know what I mean? Like if you just keep upping that number, and Lisa said that's more than I've done the last 12 months. Yeah, that's okay. So if we keep upping the numbers, like 7.25, I know I can do 10 a day, guys. Like I actually know I could say I'm going to go talk to 10 people and drive somewhere where there's people and go talk to them. Like I know I have that skill. And why don't I do it? Don't know. My standards aren't high enough, are they? But you might be like, geez, I'm shitting myself at 5 or whatever, or whatever it is. So as long as we just keep putting the bar up a little bit higher, it doesn't have to go up drastically. You might go, you know what, I'm going to smash it this week. But the real key to this is not dropping the bar. And if we do, get straight back on the bike and put it back up, right? Like don't keep the bar. If we just have one of those, and life happens, guys, that's the thing. But if we're just front of mind and we're trying to work and grow on those numbers, of course our businesses are going to grow. And then when we duplicate this process, like the reason we're doing it now is so we're so fixated that it works, because it does. Just talking to 10 people, right? Mark Hughes has been saying it since 1980. So, but if we're so fixated in just getting better at that, getting better than that, there's a few things that's going to happen. Number one, with the experience that you get from talking to different people, you're going to learn how to prospect a whole bunch better. The only reason people aren't really sharp at it is we just don't practice enough. It's kind of like picking up a footy for the first time and trying to kick the thing through the goals or something, right? Like it's actually hard to do on your first attempt. But when you've played footy for like 10 years, you just pick the thing up and some people still miss, right? So it's the same thing. You just got to keep practicing and just get developing those skills. Because when you link those skills in with the Herbalife opportunity and what we're doing, especially locally around everyone who's from around Albury, man, the things are like it's such a powerful thing. It's going to like enhance every area of your life, right? And the other thing we have to have a really firm belief in, guys, is our own personal stories and that we're doing a good thing for people. Because if we genuinely believe that we're doing a good thing for people, by tapping them into our community, getting them on the products, into the business and all those other things, and it's going to grow them and enhance their life. If we're not actually inviting them, we're kind of like being an arsehole, really. It's kind of like having a barbecue that's going to be amazing and not inviting someone over, right? That and oh, I should invite him, but, fuck him type of thing. And eventually what that will do for you guys is the major thing why people don't advance in Herbalife, in my opinion, is they either don't have a system to tap people into, which we do, or they don't have enough leads to tap people into that system. And our problem is definitely the second. So if we're doing this and learning these skills, we've got unlimited lead generation. So let's say we work it up to, let's go, who had a number? What was your number, Bobby? 4.25. So let's say Bobby averages 4.25 a day, and over a 30-day month, that's 127.5 prospects a month. New prospects that you'll be putting into some type of system, getting on product, VIP, distributors. Like, how's that not a good thing? Like, how, if you remember the base numbers that we kind of talk about, if you're getting 5 new clients or one client a week and a distributor every fortnight that's actually interested in generating royalties, you're going to be moving forward. Like, your business is going to be growing. So out of 127.5 people. Let's just call it 128. I don't like saying 0.5 people. It's very unpersonable. She needs 7 of those, so she'll get 121 no's. Or not direct no's, but people that, oh, yeah, I'll think about it, or, oh, I won't write back, or, hey, you should come down to Box Fit, crickets. You know, whatever it is, you'll get 121 of those experiences, but for the 8, it'll be worth it. And then how you build momentum, you just keep going. And then if you increase your numbers, it's more people, it's more numbers, right? Because it does all boil back to numbers, guys. If you keep a track of your numbers, there will be a pattern. So that's pretty cool. And then there's the other side of the coin. So with tabs, I've hit all of it. So it's a 3 average. Shakes, I haven't had my third one, my second one today, but we will. I'm guessing we're having them for dinner. We are now. And working out, that's where I've been shit. Worked out the first day. Got a remedial massage, so I was kind of really sore on Tuesday. Just didn't do anything just because I had that shit day. Still smashed my products, but everything else was terrible. And I done no PD either, so maybe if I woke up and done PD, right? No, that was Wednesday. We didn't go for the walk on Wednesday. So yeah, but we did go for a pretty big walk on Tuesday morning before the massage as well, because I didn't know how. Usually, if I go to the osteo, I can't go to the gym because it's like click, 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 click. And I've been I'm done more PD this week than I've probably done over the last 3 months. You know, on average for the week. So I've really kind of taken the philosophy of Brian Carruthers, and he says it's the car university or something like that. He's got a line like the car university, meaning turn your PD on the car instead of listening to music. So that's what I've been doing. It's been working for me. So that's been cool. So what's everyone else's thoughts on the list? Does everyone is it a thumb? Yep. Dash, do you want to? There you go. Did you have your hand up because you wanted to say something?
Yeah. So just out of mine, I got an invite to a confirmed invite to the Wednesday workout. She came yesterday. 2 confirmed, coming to the Mama Movement tomorrow, and I've got 2 confirmed coming to the BTS.
Nice. Just from doing the numbers, right?
Plus shoulder detox.
Plus a new client.
Plus shoulder detox.
So while everyone else apart from Em's kind of debugging her what she actually got, because Em's like, what the fuck is this all about? I'll read through mine. So on the days, it doesn't really matter, but the days I did 10, one day I've been chatting a lot to this guy, but I end up just saying, mate, you're a bit weird. Got one guy coming to Box Fit and nothing else. But the next day, I got a new client who ordered shake, tea yellow, and multi, I think. And then another inquiry that become a new VIP or is becoming a new VIP. We got a meeting with the chick from the gym, the blonde skinny one, Tash, so don't you fucking picture. The one that does the IBM classes, and a reorder. So, and possibly someone come to the BTS. So that was a decent day, right? And the next day I done 2. Must have been on my high horse. And today, nothing's really come out of today too much either. But that's the thing. And we'll get Bales's conclusion if you got some numbers there too, Tash. But that's the thing about doing it. Have you ever seen that picture of the guys, 2 people that were digging to the diamond mine? And this guy's turned around on the top and he's this far away from getting into the mine full of all the riches. And the other guy's kind of buried through and it says, don't give up. It's usually just at the end of that last little bit of work. For example, last time we did a 10 challenge, it was a Friday afternoon. It was 4:30 and I was still in the club and I think I was on 6 and I wanted 10. And the next 4 people I spoke to, one was Tommy Taco, Chuck. And so he became a supervisor. Yeah, he's fell away, but I'm working with a guy that's under him, possibly catching up, hopefully soon. And then the other one was Annalise, who becomes supervisor as well. So that's like 8,000 volume points towards my vacay quals for having those 4 conversations. And it was right at the end of the day when I was like, fuck, I'll just get in the car, go home or whatever. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm just going to talk to those extra 4 people while I'm here, and just bang that out on Instagram. And that was kind of like a story that relates to that. But Tash, do you have your numbers there? Do you know what you did? The Bales one.
Hey.
Hi.
So I started Tuesday. I didn't start straight away, and I didn't start Monday either. No real reason. I printed all these off at Mum's group on the Monday, and that's when I started after that. But I did 5 on the first day, and out of that, I've got 1 that I'm still talking to about product, 1 scan booked, and 2 coming into workouts. So
yeah.
But nothing so much the last 2 days. I've got an old client that's coming back into workouts next week that I've touched base with. Other than that, conversations are still going, but nothing confirmed from the others.
It's half the battle, isn't it? Just having the conversations to be had,
Yeah, that's right.
It's just not going to happen. Like if it was as easy as doing 10 a day and then 3 people order, of course everyone would do 10 a day, but you got to work people a bit as well.
Yeah, but I love this bit because I love being able to cross off that I've had my shakes and my SUPs and my Glow Lean, as well as the personal development. I think is huge for me that it's there, because then I go, like, I have to do that so I can write something there.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I just don't do it, but I know that I feel better when I do. So this is, keeping me accountable, but I know I have to fill that spot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm a fan of that too, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sweet. Cool. Good. And Duff, have you got anyone from your 1 people a day? And where did you, or like, I guess more importantly, how do you feel about the top half of it as well, and the important list?
Yeah, so I think like with the products, been smashing that, and the exercise component as well. Mindset, not so much. So I know that I still need to work on that. And then just, trying to get into that habit of talking to people, because I have been very sporadic for ages. So I've got a maybe for the BTS on Saturday. I'm having another conversation just around network marketing, that sort of thing. And I got also an old VIP who's reactivated her membership as well, so, and ordered, which is really good. So small steps.
Amazing. So just as some news between us, and this isn't going to go anywhere else, but the what we just voted on tonight, and I think this is going to get released at the World Team Leadership Weekend, but don't quote me, is that if someone can do the 3 stages of MAP at any point instead of the first 90 days. So if you got a VIP that goes, I want to do the business, there's no, like, they can just go, okay, well, let's get you doing MAP, rather than, oh, fuck, it's too late, there's nothing to promote to you, like, so I thought that was cool. Bobby, like, what's your thoughts, reflections?
I had that girl that Hello. So, I'm liking it too. I'm just a bit slack at like filling it out at the point. So I need to make sure I'm taking it with me in a pen, because then it comes the end of the day and I'm like, oh, I did nothing, but I did. I just didn't put it on the list. So, I really like it. I haven't got much yet, but I did ask a girl if she'd watch if she'd watched the video. And she pretty much gave me like a blatant no, but it didn't really affect me like I thought it would, like getting the no. And I think it's because I know I've got this many other lines in the water at the moment and like potential things happening that it didn't like knock me down. That's pretty much all I wanted to say.
Cool. So long story short, if we keep getting better at all those things, like obviously product use is such an important thing in Herbalife, but you know, working out, personal, so that's like our level 10 staff, and then talking to the 10 as well. Things are going to get better. So let's, when we do this call next week, get that number down somewhere where you write things. I don't know where, maybe on your mirror. There is a good spot, because then when you look at it, you're like, fuck, I have to talk to like over 5 people tomorrow. So 6, you know, or when you're adding it up over the course of the week, or you can like keep a track of it somewhere so you know what your number is on or something, and then just keep hashing out those new conversations. Because really the accountability is for us guys is just kind of like no, I'm not going to come over and check your sheets, right? Like you like we're in this for ourselves at the end of the day. Like it's good that we help everyone and all those things, but we're in business for for ourselves, but not by ourselves, and that's the whole point of this group, so we can keep each other accountable. So good stuff on that. That's exciting. The other thing I thought we'd speak about, actually, I'll tell you something I learned today on focus as well. So if you're extremely focused on something, who here has bought a new car and gone, wow, there's so many of these, and I didn't actually think there was any on the planet. I thought this was literally the only one ever. And then you buy one, and then you're literally pulling up the one every sets of lights, or maybe a piece of clothing. You bought a really nice jumper or something, I don't know. And you're like, wow, this is really fresh. I've never seen it before. You know, this is awesome. And then you walk out of the store and 3 people walk past wearing it. You're like, how, where's that come from? Has anyone else had that experience? Yeah, Bobby just says she's seen a shit car everywhere. So the reason that is, guys, is there's, and this was on the Tony Robbins stuff today, so I just thought I'd tell you, it just come to mind. It's called the RAS. It's in our brain, and it's actually, it's designed to identify things that we are focusing on. So for example, the new car is such a big thing in our life that, you know, it's a part of our life now, so we're focusing on it, so we'll see it everywhere. Every time there's an opportune moment. So it's the same. It's the same if you're focusing on, and you're extremely focused and you're like nearly obsessed with Go on Active World Team, for example, or Get Team, or just moving through the marketing plan in general, or Go on President's Team or whatever. Your brain will actually search for opportunities to actually talk to people. Like you will search for it. So instead of reading past the people that maybe on Facebook they're saying, I have no money, and you scroll past it because you don't see it, because you're not focused, like focused and telling yourself about this stuff, the RAS in your brain will kick in. It's actually a part of our brain, and you'll see it. And you'll go, oh, I'm going to talk to that person. You know, or so it's kind of like if you're focused on like I prefer myself to focus on the process and just have the goal there, but understand the daily habits, like Tony Robbins was saying today on the video. If I focus on the process, that's something I can control. If I focus on other things that I can't control, I feel like it's nearly a waste of my time, because you can't control them. You can only control how you react sometimes, and you know, life happens and shit gets in the way, but you can only control little decisions you make around it. So, I just found that super interesting when it related to our business, because, you know, for me, I'm always focused on bringing in new members into the business and going through the marketing plan and stuff like that. Like that's always a thing. And you guys know I'm passionate about my business. So if someone's bringing in referrals to something, I'm like, hey, I automatically see that as a chance to put them into an event. Hey, you'd be really good at this business. Come check this thing out. And this kind of ties into promoting, right? Because if we're promoting the right thing to the right people, and bridging the gap and making it sound attractive to them, People are going to do what we're asking them to do. But it's kind of like telling your kids, go clean your room. And what's the response generally? Okay. And then you walk out there and they're watching the TV and they haven't even moved. Or, no, I don't want to. And there's a big shit fight or something like that, right? We're all parents on the call, so you guys know what it's like as well. Unless you're like a real drill sergeant. And then you probably yell and blah, 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 and then they end up doing it. And what's in it for them? Number one is they might get a smack in the ass if you're yelling at them. Number two is you might say, go clean up your room and do all these things, and that's a tick on the box and you get pocket money. Or you reward them with, I don't know, like food or something, a lolly or I don't know. But you guys get my point, right? That's what's in it for them. So that's why they do it. So it's either fear, generally. The boys, it probably is here. Or some type of reward. Actually, that's a lie. It's probably more of a reward here. So when we're promoting to adults, it's exactly the same thing, except we just have to find what their reward is. What's in it for them? So, and to paint a little bit of a picture for them as well. So for tonight, Tash was there. I think Bobby was there too. We have a girl called Ida, right? Comes into the club all the time. You guys probably, except Lise, you others might have seen her. She's actually had 5 guests walk in the door since she's been there, maybe 3 months or so, I think. Maybe longer, I don't know. But 5 people come through, which is better than probably a majority of some of the coaches that come in, right? They haven't had 5 people through the door yet, and Ida's had 5. So what that means for me is there's 2 things I can promote here. Number one is we know she's short on money because she said, I can't get the product because I'm short of money. So that's instantly for me, I'm going to be like, okay, what can I find that's going to actually make you think that you can do this business? Because everyone can, right? We just need them to believe it enough to get into the event. So I said to Ida, if we can make you $500 a month extra on top of what you're doing without changing too much of what you're doing right now, because you're coming in anyway, which is making it sound simple in her own mind, this is why you should be at the BTS on Saturday. And she was like, you could kind of see the cogs ticking over in her head. And she's like, okay, because we're saying what's in it for her, right? And we also said, you've had 5 people come in. Like, how to do this business. It's an invitation business. Like, you're a natural, which gives her confidence. It's like a flattering thing to be a natural at something. I've never been a natural at anything. Sucks. We used to play, those people that were really annoying in school and they were really good at every sport. That definitely wasn't me. But a lot of my friends were. And it was very frustrating, because they were naturals at everything. So people like that. They like thinking that they're good. So that's what's in it for them as well. So I'd be highly surprised if she didn't come to the BTS because she said she was coming. But that's a yes. But that's just an example out of so many guys. And if we're asking enough questions and being good listeners and just using, just thinking, what's in it for this person? Asking yourself the question. What's going to be the main driver for them to come in to check this thing out and actually be a Herbalife coach and want to create a business? What's going to be the main driver? Or get them in the room and get them tapped in for long enough that they attract a person that wants to actually and is serious about generating royalties. Because as we all know, the person who we actually recruit mightn't be the diamond in that line. Just may not be. So, and that's just kind of network marketing. And a lot of people will make good money in that line, but they mightn't be the president's team member. And if the goal is to get 5 of them to be a chairman's club member, or let's say even 2 mil team, so we go president's team, or 4 get team, so we go mil team, or just another active world team member, so we do the royalty component of active world team ourselves. That's the person that we're actually looking for in the group. So, the beauty of recruiting new people is we're opening up their whole network of people that we don't know, and it's direct marketing, right? So there's a whole group of people there that you don't know that, and I've had so many times, guys, so many times where someone's come in and they say, "Oh, you actually spoke to me like 6 months ago," but they come in because their friend invited them. It's a heap different than a stranger, right? COI is still the most powerful thing. And the other thing that we kind of decided tonight, me and Bobby, just while we're talking about COIs, remember how we done all those lists? And I doubt either of us, or enough of us, done enough with it. This is what's going to pad my list. Instead of trying to reach out to these people on Instagram or whatever, which is sometimes good, but that's going to be like a small percentage of the DMO, I think. Spend 30 minutes on that a day and then trying to touch base with the people that I actually know. So much more power in that, I reckon. So that's a good place to start, you guys, as well. Because if you've done 300 and you've done, you're doing 5 people a day, you've got 60 days worth of invites before you even have to reach out to your social media. So if you're padding it a little bit with the social media, go for longer, right? So nearly 2 months worth. And you'll get really good success in that as well. So that's all I want to go through, guys, tonight. With promoting, just being a good listener is so important, and just finding out what is their drive, like what is their pain point. Because we've all got things in our lives that we want to improve, and if you say, like, if someone said to me, if you come and check this out for 2 hours, and it might improve this, I'll definitely go because I want to improve, right? And I think a lot of, especially in people's finances, it's definitely not getting cheaper, is it? Like the world in general, but people are sick of having that financial pain. So I think it's important to be touching base with people on the opportunity. But do you guys have any questions before we wrap this up? Do you have a question?
My mom's gonna join you.
That's a statement. Or you just said, my mum's going to draw you. And that's definitely not a question. All right, guys. If there is any questions, if you're watching this in reflection or on the call now, I'll upload it into. Actually, I'll send it to the people that asked, and they can watch it. And that's it. Hope you guys got some value out of that. Next week when we're talking, let's try to up our numbers, and we'll try to pick out an amazing guest for you guys as well. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.